welcome everybody. My name is, like Mariana said, is Tiago Ricotta. I am the Innovation Director of Athie Wohnrath. We are the biggest architecture firm here in Brazil. We are based in Sao Paulo. And I'm going to present to all of you the concept of keep it simple. It's something that we are developing in our company, and we are based in some experience that we have. So just to start here, I would like to just present to you guys the first axis. It's what we call the usability axis. From one side, we have the hard to use. The other side, we have like the easy to use solutions. So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to figure out like whatever solutions we are bringing to the company, we want to classify them on hard to use, easy to use. The other X is going to be like the intelligence one. So we will have like not so smart and smart solutions. So, well, how do you classify that? At first, we have this user here. He's just like really unhappy with his life because he's using something that's hard to use, not so smart. Then we have the other user that usually Bentley solutions are in this quadrant here because they are very smart, but you have to have a PhD to deliver and use something with their solutions. So that's what we classify from hard to use. And then from the other side, we have the happy guy with it's easy to use but not so smart, something about we could classify as SketchUp. And the last one, it's the challenge accept one. When I was doing the presentation and doing the slides, I was trying to think in a solution that I could put in here, and I couldn't remember. And that's why we are going through a journey here with Keep It Simple, because to be in that quadrant with a solution that's smart and easy to use, you have to be scalable. It's to be here, your solution has to be scalable. And people that know me knows that I keep saying things like this all the time. And I would like to introduce you like, okay, it's scalable, but what is scalability? From the Oxford Dictionary, well, it's a noun. It's the capacity to be changed in size or scale. Scalability of the service has not been an issue. Or the ability of a computing process to be used or produced in a range of capabilities. The key is the scalability of the software. But I would like to introduce something that we developed in the last year that I am in the company. Like, it's the ability of identifying an industry pain points and solve it with a very simple UX, a very simple user experience. The objective is to make a solution that have a high scalability index. And that's what is important here, because if the scalability index is so high, it's because you solved the problem in a very easy way, and it's very easy to spread that for the company. And that's what, after going to enter in my company and seeing how difficult it is to scale solutions and make things easier, that's why I started to study this kind of issue. And okay, we are here with scalability, but what is UX? Well, from UX, same Oxford Dictionary, user experience. But I don't like to call it user experience. I like to call it human experience, because it's not the UX design, the relationship here. It's not from UX designer to a user. I would like to think this relationship between human and human, because it's a human that is thinking something that other human you use. So that's why I would like to call it human experience. And what is human experience here? It's the overall experience of a person using a product such as a website or a computer application, especially in terms of how easy or pleasing it is to use it. So if a website degrades the user experience too much, people will simply stay away. And that's very true. And I also added something, a definition that's mine here. AEC solutions should focus on user experience, because today it's all garbage. And please stop thinking that all users want solutions that looks like Excel. That's not true, and I'm gonna say why. So what if, just what if, the AEC industry focus on scalable solutions using UX? What would happen if you focus on UX from the perspective to deliver things to the solution. So we are all here in the hackathon. We have amazing programmers, we have amazing designers, we have amazing knowledge here, but we have to think about on the user side, the human side from the other side, on how easy it's going to be to be used the solutions that we are developing here. But to continue, I would like to interrupt this room for a special announcement. I start to talk, I jump it directly into the subject, but I didn't present myself. So who is Tiago Ricotta? I don't like to define myself as an architect or something like that. I would like to prefer that I believe that we are the combination of all the things that we experience through life. And well, I've been born in 1986. I am an architect. I made my first backpack in 2010. I entered in the big tech industry with Autodesk, Microsoft, Adobe, and everything in 2011. I made my master's degree between 2013 and 2016. In 2016, I won Autodesk Award for Creativity and Innovation. I became the Innovation Director last year for my company, Athie Wohnrath. And this year, I was able to win the Sao Paulo Startup Weekend. And from now on, I don't know what we do in life echoes in eternity, but this journey, it wasn't all the time like that. Like it was something more like this, with all the difficulties, all the things that we have done. We have a dog here sleeping in the couch, and it's 64 countries visited. That gives me a lot of a good perspective on how to treat this team. And well, since last year, I've been working at Athie Wohnrath. Athie Wohnrath has the MTP, the Mass Transformation Purpose of Places Inspire People. And that's what we do. We try to design high-end architecture that inspire people that will use that space. And nowadays we are in 850 Dreamers. We do something about 360 projects per year. With these projects, we have more than 1 million construction square meters per year. So, well, you can see here, high-end architecture, amazing things that we do. But for every single image here, for every single astonishing architecture that we do, there is a history behind. There is a history of how to integrate things, how to maintain things at the same pace. So that's what I'm here about to talk to you guys and share this knowledge on some of these projects here. So getting back to keep it simple, now that I present myself and my company. So why it's important to keep things simple, and why UX is so important nowadays, especially in the AEC industry. Like let's go through these concepts over here. Well, first of all, the AEC world today, it's well fragmented, and from this fragmentation we have somehow the complexity. It's very complex. If someone starts in the industry today, it's going to be like, and go for the trending topics, not how the things are being done in the past few decades, but for the trending tech topics that we have here. Well, it's going to be something like that. Many terms, some guys creating new terms every day to think that they are more special than others. But for the new people, it's just Greek. It's just a very complex word. It's not something easy to scale. If someone starts in my company today, it will go for lots of training. So we are trying to make things simple because of that, because it's very difficult to introduce someone into these topics. And well, I was for 8 years in this side on how it's sold. Like I was very honest with my clients. I never told them that it was just one click button, but many people sell their stuff saying things like that. The sky is blue, the things are perfect. But the real very truth here is something like that. Like it's how it is things in the AEC industry is like, yeah, every time you have to open a window, click here, set up, click here, set up, click here, set up. And then you have the user like crazy because if you go for a single software that you're gonna have to start and evolve yourself into that software, you have to have at least 40 hours of some basic training of in one software, and then you go for advanced training. It's going to be more 80 hours, and here we go for forever and ever being trained in a solution that's very complex. And that's why we need to simplify stuff, because we cannot be the cat like screaming all the time and being crazy about this. And how about the future users? Like, our industry is not sexy. Our industry doesn't have the appeal to attract these people, these guys that are with their iPads and learning everything with Apple UX. Like, we don't have this appeal. Imagine someone that was born like 10 years ago, and in 10 years they will come to our industry, and if nothing changes, we will introduce AutoCAD to them, and then they will say like, whoa, I was playing The Sims, I was doing things, I was like doing my walls here in a very way. I knew the budget, I knew how much I would have to pay. I knew that if I put a plumbing fixture here, that everything was connected. Why do I have to draw a line and don't see nothing in 3D? Like, we are not attracting these guys. And that's why we have to take care about that, because these guys here, they will see our industry like, nah, I'm not going to that. I'm not going to put myself in this suffering. I just prefer to do anything else than just going with that. So for me, the biggest villain here, it's this guy. It's not Thanos, it's Excel. Why? Let's go through this a little bit, because the Excel is the AEC Infinity Gauntlet. You have you can do whatever you want there. You can even draw your projects. You can go for every single, you can go for time. You can put your life there, because there are many guys that put this kind of stuff, go for VBA and everything. They make the programming. It's the heart of many companies. So with this, we have to understand why people want this, because it's simple. It's like you can do everything with Excel here in the AEC industry. So with that, we have a paradox, because from one side, we have the users. The users like, we want things as simple as Excel. And from the other side, we have the UX design saying challenge accepted. So we are all the time like, what the users asks, what the UX designers are going to design, and things are evolving. But this paradox makes one size fits all. Every single solution looks like Excel. And it doesn't matter what kind of solution we go, it always have the same front. And even if you go for HoloLens, a high-end device, very advanced technology, we are doing things like Excel inside the HoloLens again. And we have to break this we have to break this curse. Like, we cannot just, because Excel is simple, we cannot think in anything else. If the user is asking for us, UX designer are just like going with the wind. And what to do in here? So it's complex, because we have this repetitive cycle. People asking one thing, people are delivering the same thing, the one-size-fits-all solution, users getting mad over there. So what we could do to solve this kind of thing? Well, I think we should hit refresh. Even if it's Steve Jobs and Apple, I'm using the Microsoft book here to think like that. But yes, I think we should hit refresh. And like Steve Jobs once said, like some people say, give the customer what they want, but that's not my approach. Our job is to figure out what they are going to want before they do. Because I think Henry Farland said, if I would ask customers what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse. And Excel in our industry is our faster horse. And people don't know what they want until you show it to them. That's why I never rely on market research. Our task is to read things that aren't yet on the page. So with that in mind, I think that's what we could start to evolve here and to do. But It's not like that we aren't going to listen to user, clients, humans, whatever they have their needs, but we have to delight them, not just fulfill their needs. If a client come to you and say, oh, I would like a house, I'm gonna put all the effort and deliver the best house that I can do to fulfill their, to surprise them and not just fulfill their need. That's what we do at our company all the time with the Stone-Inch architecture that we do. That's what it's one of our values. We have to delight the client, not only fulfill the need of the client, delivering some kind of normal office. That's why I showed you some pictures of our architecture. That's what we like to do inside our company. And that goes for the solutions as well. That's why we are starting. We have been in the company for 1 year, and with an amazing team that we have, we are trying to go and delight our customers. That is the people inside our company, to make their lives easier. That's our purpose inside the company. And why to keep it simple? Why it's so important? Because I have 850 people inside my company. And with this, if I go to like one-to-one learning, it's easy. I can like fulfill the needs of the client or of that user. Or if I go for like one-to-any learning, like the problem here is that it's very difficult to scale and to teach everybody. So the knowledge is with the person, not with the company. And that's the biggest issue that we have. The biggest issue that we have is that by doing all this and keep things complex enough and going to the Russian model of putting people inside a room, like 10 people, 20 people with a teacher there in the board, like teaching everybody, like this costs 20 hours, man hours per training. If it goes for 1 hour, that costs a lot of money. And if this guy here leaves the company, the knowledge goes with them and we lose everything here. So that's why it's important to try to keep things easy as possible. And what we are trying to do here is to invert the logic. Like we want to have like end-to-end training, end-to-end solutions, because if we do plug and play knowledge, the knowledge is with the company and it's simple to use, simple to scale. If the experts go away from the company, the knowledge stay with us. That's what we are trying to do. That's what we are trying to evolve as a company to solve this kind of problem. And we are using their minds, the minds of the people that are the most experts, the brilliant minds that we have, like the experts and everything, to take this knowledge away and try to encapsulate in a simple way. So we don't need to go and put 20 people in a room to train again, and again. The hard work, we need to do that, like and think the UX design. So people can, just like an app, they go to the cell phone here, they download the app, and the solution that should deliver the project is more intuitive than what it is right now. So that's what we are trying to push. That's what we are trying to study. If we do this kind of thing and take the complexity from the minds of these guys and put in a code, put in the application, we don't have to put all these hard things, all this hard knowledge into the user. The user just go like, with the solutions that we have today, we are killing the will of these guys to be an architect. We are putting into their shoulders some tasks that it's not to architects to do. Architects want to be architects, engineers want to be engineers. We cannot confuse things here, and that's why we should keep things should keep things simple enough so we can scale things here. So how to do that? What we did? How to do this kind of stuff? Well, this is the Bible. Everybody here should go and read this book. It's Change by Design from Tim Brown. It's applying design thinking. Basically, that's what we are trying to do. Even if it's not so, if it's a methodology inside the company, that we are not saying that, oh no, we are using design thinking to solve this kind of problem. People don't know that we are using this kind of stuff. So, but we are using it. We are putting the human-centered design in the center of the process of delivering and producing stuff. The second thing is UX, human experience here, and getting away with one size fits all. One size doesn't fit all at all. Doesn't fit all. Like if you have a global solution, if you are in South America or in the Middle East, like the way people read stuff and do things are different. Here we do from the left from right. There it's the contrary. It's go from the right to the left. So why you are delivering one size solution for everybody in the globe? And we are entering into an area, into an era of high personalization, and that's what we should do. Think about it. The users, the humans using stuff that we are developing, they are willing to personalize stuff for them, for that individual, and that's the one big challenge that we have. And the third one is this scalability. Like we are all the time thinking, if something that we are developing, if it works, but only you can use it, one person can use it, sorry, it's not a solution. All the time, that's something that I learned in 8 years of as a consultant, because sometimes when I was in a meeting, I was discussing some kind of solution with some architects, and I said, that's something we can solve this kind of problem. And then I put a lot of effort in it. I showed the solution, and then the feedback was, no, but okay, but it's very complicated to use it. So, and we will have a lot of effort to train people in that solution. So that's why I call that, if it works, but only you can use it, sorry, it's not a solution, because and if only you can use that thing, the other guys in the company, they will not buy your solution. They will just do whatever they are doing with the old stuff. So that's what is important with scalability here. And how to tackle that? Like, let's put this, of course, the technology is very, it's 60s, 70s technology, but that's one kind of representation that I want to show it. Like when you go with this kind of stuff, you have a NASA thing. Usually NASA is used for complex example, because Neil Armstrong, he went to the moon, but here, or the panel that he used to go to the moon is smart, but it's hard to use compared to Tesla. Like Tesla went to the International Space Station. They are going to the moon in 2024. Into 2030, we are going to Mars, and from that, whatever we are going to do. But it's smart and easy to use. Like they have 3 panels. They condensed every single button that we have into this this panel here in NASA, and they did just they solved the problem with just 3 monitors. So that's why I think it's very important to think about this, to do this kind of stuff, because even if we enter in a Boeing or into an Airbus today, it's just like the principle is the same from NASA. They are not thinking about how it's going to be easy to use it with the interface to go to the moon or go to the Mars or go to Sao Paulo to New York. Like we are not thinking about the human and the user experience here. So I would like to play a game with you guys. What if? With all these concepts, what is the dream like? What we could do? So we have here Revit. Revit, it has a Windows approach. Like if you wanted to change a material inside Revit, you have to go like click on an element, then you click in edit type, then you click in the material edition, then you click in the material, then you click in the material browser to change the material. That's insane. That's insane. But what if we had an Apple approach here? If you watch the iPhone presentation in 2007, you're gonna see that Steve Jobs says something like that, like, "Oh, we solved this Windows problem like 30 years ago with the Macintosh. Like the interface is very simple. Like I would like to have a software where I could just like open my browser and start doing stuff." but in a more in the scenes ways. The scenes for me is a really good experience of how to do stuff in an easy and simple way. Like you, in 5 minutes, you can draw. You can easily draw a house there. But I don't want to see things that I'm not using. I don't want to go like to click in a window after window after window, set up stuff. Like it's too complex. I just to scale. It's something that we could do to simplify the UX for the user. Like I just don't want. I don't want to have this kind of interface anymore. And also what if we get rid of the Excel approach and we start to go like with a visual approach? Like everything is classified inside the BIM model. Why I have to go to a spreadsheet and link things like by hand and showing stuff like in a list? If I can go visual, everything is classified. I can just go see what I want and click in that, just like to start doing Jarvis stuff. Like, oh, okay, take the walls here. These walls are this material. These materials cost tanto. Oh, project will cost $300, $300,000. Okay, that's it. That's what we are trying to pursue here, like to go through visual approach and get rid of the Excel approach. The other stuff that we should get rid of it's the Gantt approach. Imagine that you are an engineer, and I know that when you do a 4D planning or something like that, your Microsoft project, you are very proud of yourself, and you're gonna present to your clients. So here we're gonna have like 12 months of construction, and here's my Gantt chart, and your client doesn't understand anything of that, but he has to play cool, like I understand. If he did that, I can understand that Gantt. I don't understand anything, but I will say that I understand because I'm not stupid. So we could go for another approach. Like just keep it simple. Go for agile approach here. We can classify stuff. It has colors. You can just go from one side to the other and say like things are done. And you can visually see that. You don't need to go for a chart here, a Gantt chart, where it's very complex for our clients. Our clients need to have a simple information, a visual information, and to feel safe for him that things are being done. Because when in my concept, like if you go and present a Gantt chart, it's more like, okay, it's very complex. It's very easy to the client to just say that he's understanding, but in fact, he's not. And we have to think into how to present this information on how the things are being done for the client in another way. And another thing that we would like to tackle, and we are thinking about that all the time, is like, I don't want to have a file-based approach. I don't want to have the 300 extensions. I don't want that. I don't want to have 300 types of solutions installed at my cell phone, 300 software installed at my computer to solve a construction problem. I want to go for a decision-making approach, a community making approach. Like the concept here is that if I draw a line inside a project, that's a very heavy decision that you are doing, because that line at my company is that line that we say that's a drywall. At least 30 people will have interaction with that line. 30 people will have to understand that line as a drywall, and they will have to classify that drywall, what type it is, what are the dimensions, what is the area, how much does it cost, how do I buy it, who will deliver that at the construction site, when it delivers there, how we will install, how we will check that it's done, how we will pay the guy. So it's 30 people, and it's a very, very heavy decision. And I think that we lost that kind of mentality when we start to segregate stuff and fragmented stuff. And we don't think about this anymore, like how important is the decision of simply draw a line inside the project. So that's why I want to keep the record on this, what is being changed inside the project. I don't want like to get it to understand a change of the project, to go inside a file, inside a version, to understand what is going on. It's a decision making. It's very important to do this kind of stuff. And another thing is that we have to get rid of the tool approach. The tool is not more important than the human-centered approach. These are the guys that are doing stuff. It's not the software. I cannot be classified as mature enough or less mature if I am using Revit or ArchiCAD. Like a studio, a very small studio comes here, no, I'm using ArchiCAD. I have a higher being level than you are. How is that define something? Like we are putting the tools at the first place, and that's not the case. We have to put the human centered in the center of the decisions here. Like the process, the experience. That's why I say that we are the sum of the experience that we go for our lives. Because every single guy in that in that theater at that day, they did amazing jobs last year. It's 150 projects that we construct and 350 projects that we fought. So these are the guys. We cannot just put all the decisions and all the lights inside the softwares. The software is just some the middle way to get at the end. Like we cannot put them at the highlight of the decisions here. Because in the end, doesn't matter whatever I'm saying here. In the end, it's going to be something like that. It's going to be like developers making simple, intuitive stuff, but the users, they will just try to do whatever they want. Like they will just get read about all the things that you are doing. So that's why have this coming and go is very important. We have some challenge to do all this that I'm saying. And the first one that I would like to say, well, it's what I call the anti-vaxxers or the antibodies. It's the blockers. There are many blockers inside the company. It's not easy to innovate. Innovation equals value. If people doesn't see value in what you are proposing, well, whatever, it's not going to. They are not going to use, and they will block what you are thinking. The second one is the ego ecosystem, the ecosystem of the AEC culture. We are a system, a culture, an industry that is always based on me. It's not an ecosystem, it's an ecosystem. So that's something that we have to tackle. We have to be more collaborative. We cannot just like think that, oh, I solved my problem, the industry is fragmented, I don't care about the others. So we have to have an ecosystem at the AEC industry here. And another thing is that we have quite in a comfort zone, because real architecture and engineering managers be replaced by AI and robots. There is a very little chance of this to occur, 1.7%. But, however, our pool suggests that a higher chance of automation is classified in 35% for the next 2 decades. So, well, it's human interaction, human by human design stuff. So a machine will never change my mind. Like, it will never do my work. And that's, I think, it's somehow we don't worry about, we are not worrying about this as in other industry, because, well, the chance is very little. But every single thing here, there is a way to solve these problems and to tackle them. And the strategy here is like, okay, let's identify these blockers and have empathy with them. We cannot just point the finger and say, like, you are blocking my way. So what we did is, in the beginning of the year, we hold some workshops where we put like early adopters, people that were blockers, people that were wanting to participate in the project, to hear them. We just want to hear. Okay, and the dynamic was something like that. Like, so you put 30 minutes, so we have this problem here. Discuss. And we take notes. So they identify new problems, old problems, and we were taking notes of everything. And then in the next 30 minutes, we ask them, so these are the problems that everybody is classifying here and identify it as that was difficult in the process. How would you solve these problems? How would you guys like solve this kind of problem? And then they start to discuss the solutions, and we are taking note of the solutions. And we are just like, okay, for this problem, we have these solutions, and here we go. And in the end, we gave them money, where they just go, if you have money to put in only one solution for each kind of problem, because the problems have many ways to solve the problems. They went there and, okay, I would like buy this solution, I would buy this solution, I would buy this solution. By doing that, it's a 1-hour workshop. We had like amazing experience because we were able to identify new problems that we weren't seeing. We were able to get solutions that they were participating. It's not something that I was just like top down doing for them. And in the third way, which was very important, the most important ones, like what is the has to be prioritized, like what is the priority here? So we were able to do all this. And then with all this content in our hands, we had to go and understand and simplify all that stuff. So we put the brilliant minds of the experts of the company all the time asking and making these connections. Okay, we have this problem. We are thinking that this could be the way. You here, you are the expert. What do you think about this? We try it. We try. You have to try and try to delight. Just like if the user is asking for an Excel, think what is the new Excel? Like get rid, like if Microsoft Excel doesn't exist, the interface, how would it be? How it could be done? So that's what we did. And in the end, it's as simple as this cube here. What is that like? How you can simplify everything that you are saying into a cube? Our MTP, as I said, is places inspire people. If you think about architecture, if you think about the project, what is a project, an architecture project in the end? Like, oh, it's going to be floors, it's going to be curtain walls, ceilings, doors, and everything. But in the end, you can condense everything inside one thing, that's space. Space is what it defines an architecture project. So with the space, we thought like if we solve the space, we can solve every kind of, we can tackle many of the problems that we have there. And by doing that approach, like some of the workflows that we designed, the old way of doing stuff, like it was 2 days. With the new approach of keep it simple, it's 3.5 hours with 10 minutes of training. Like it's a very good approach to solve problems. It's how we could do, like we turn complex stuff. We turn complex stuff into code. With this code, we just simplify. They are doing the hard job. They are doing the hard work, and the user just have to think about the project. He just wants to be an architect. He just wants to be an architect. And another approach that we have, like, is the linear and exponential thinking. Because from one side, from one axis here, we have the growth. From the other, we have the time. But this is a map, like it's the linear approach is that I want to go there. In 5 years, the strategic plan of my company has 5 years, 3 years. It doesn't matter what happens. It will stay with the linear approach. Like the plan doesn't change. But that doesn't fit anymore. This is a Salim's Mail exponential organizations charts. I do recommend for everybody to read Salim's Mail. He's one of the founders of Singularity University. He's one of the greatest minds that we have in our time. We are doing exactly what he's thinking, because the exponential approach, like between the map and the site and the terrain, we are always going to stick with the site. The plan is going there, but that's a vision. Like I cannot just like, okay, Google Maps is saying for me to go this way. If there is something blocking, I will just wait for someone to go and unblock the road. We cannot think like that. So if there's a block, okay, I'm gonna for this way, I will open a new road. I will do whatever I want to solve the problem. And the thing is that when you go with this approach, when you get into the curve of when you have the productivity, okay, we reached the 3.5 hours that we were using. Whoa, that's a big gain, but how do we scale the solution? And when we are going to scale, that's where it's gonna appears all kind of problem that you are not prepared to solve it. And the big dive that you do, if you are not prepared to change your strategy all the time, you're gonna just be dead at the end with no oxygen in the big dive. But as soon as you get rid of all the problems, your solution is ready to like explode and go exponential, scalable. So that's why it's very important here with these charts. And one thing here is that we have the Industrial Revolution. This is for the expo civilization, the exponential civilization, because with the Industrial Revolution, we started this approach of going with our civilization to the top. But right now, the Western society, we are starting to go and meet all the kind of problems that we were not supposed to have right now. So we have problems with GDPR, we have problems with security, we have problems with what to do. Like I will have a job like in 10 years because AI is coming, robots are coming, oh my God, what's gonna happen? But if you tackle these problems and we form new leaders, new projects that can think in the human first, putting the human at the first place, putting their needs at the first place, I think we don't need to go as a civilization into this big dive. We can just shorten this dive and solve these problems as well. As soon as we get in the moon, we are going to Mars. From Mars, whatever we're going to do like. So I think from that, the message here is like we are going to be solve problems in exponential ways. Like we are going to enter in today we live an era of shortage. We are going to enter in an area of abundance of knowledge, abundance of solutions, and this has to think in the human in the first place. So to end my presentation here, I'm just finishing the all the things here. Some lessons learned. So, well, like I said, as I present myself and through all the presentation here, if you plan something on how things are planned, it's not like that. Things will be just like everywhere. You have to be able to hear something that you don't like. You have to be able to communicate something that's very difficult to take decisions. So that's how things are in life. So we have to deal with this kind of thing. And I call everybody to take action. Like I love Murilo Gun. He is one of the brilliant minds that we have here in Brazil, and he has a concept of in Portuguese is combinatividade. In English, it translated is combinativity. That's the combination with creativity, because every creativity solution is the combination of solution that already exists. My presentation here is a combination of, in every single slide is a combination of things that I read, that I saw, that I have the experience in Africa, Asia, Europe, United States. So it's a combination of all this. And to solve this kind of problems, we have to have focus. And because when you don't have focus, the energy is just like everywhere. But when you have focus, like the focus that we have, like it's the human, we are trying to solve and make things simple for the users. We are putting all the energy into that. So we can canalize every single watt of energy that we have and put into that. And we are extracting these results over here. And just for everybody to get inspired, this is Alder Tang. He's the digital minister of Taiwan, and he has a poem that for me it's formidable. It's very, very good, and I would like to read for you guys. It's when we see Internet of Things, let's make it Internet of Beings. When we see virtual reality, let's make it a shared reality. When we see machine learning, let's make it collaborative learning. When we see user experience, let's make it about human experience. And then when we see the singularity is near, let us remember the polarity is here and now. So with this poem, I just finished my presentation. Here you have all my contacts here, the Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I have a podcast. It's in Portuguese-based language. It's called Fala Bem. We are Instagram, LinkedIn, Spotify, Facebook. Well, you just type there and gonna find myself. Thank you very much.